Would the audience please stand for the procession of the graduates? Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Navy Reserve Officer Training Corps Color Guard, and then for the singing of the national anthem by Linnea Hiesel.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Please be seated. You know, one of the things I had always wanted to do in my life was be able to sing like Linnea, and it just never happened. But welcome to the graduates, to their families, to their friends, to the faculty, to our guest speaker, Dr. McCausland, and to my own family. Today is such a special day. It is your day, graduates, your day. Graduation marks the end of a phase in which you've met the requirements of the degree or certificate that you are receiving. You have succeeded in demonstrating your ability to be the best beginning nurse or advanced nurse that you can be. You've studied hard, you've given up time with family and friends, proven your critical thinking skills, time after time after time, exam after exam after exam, and paper after paper after paper. You've provided encouragement to other students in your classes, and you've been an inspiration to us all. You have truly been an inspiration to the faculty, to your patients, likely to your family, and to others. No matter what program you're graduating from, we know the commitment and courage that it takes to be successful. You're at the doorstep of a very major shift in your life. You have opportunities that you probably have never dreamed of, that you haven't even thought of, opportunities that will continue to challenge you throughout your career. This is a time for both celebration and reflection. Celebrate today, but reflect tomorrow on your commitment to nursing and the people that you will be caring for. Being a nurse is not a job. It's a privilege and it's a calling. That includes being part of people's lives at some of the most joyful and some of the most difficult and sorrowful moments in someone's life. You know the most personal details of a person's life. You're at births and deaths. You're with people who have gotten their all clear from their cancer checkup, and you're with people that have gotten the bad news after their checkup. Nursing is most definitely not an easy profession, but it's incredibly rewarding and special. Each of you will make a difference every day. You've not been able to do this alone, and many people have helped you along the way, family, friends, and significant others. They've helped you in so many ways. They've done the laundry, they've done the shopping, they've picked up the kids, they've done so many things for you and helped you probably financially in many ways. So I ask you to stand and turn and applaud those folks because they deserve it. And in addition to that very important group is another very important group that's contributed significantly to your success, and that's the faculty and staff. The faculty have challenged you, mentored you, and been available when you have had personal problems, when you've had academic concerns, no matter what your issue has been. They're the people who would go home at night and continue to figure out how to help you master some of those particularly hard concepts. And I ask you to recognize the faculty. Please stand. Thank you. Each of you is ready to take your next step. You may be clear about what your next step is, or it may not be known to you right now. But whatever the case is, I can guarantee that it will be exciting. So now, I think we're going to have the opportunity to hear from our student speaker. And each year, aha, the cheering crowd, yes. Each year there's a call for nominations of students from all of our programs, both the undergraduate and the graduate programs. And Marcia Camden, who is graduating with her Bachelor of Nursing in Science degree, soon to be Marcia Camden RN, was selected for this year's speaker.
Good evening, Dean Johnson, honored guests, fellow students, faculty and staff, friends and family. It's an honor to be here tonight before you representing the graduating class of 2014. As I considered the events leading up to this evening, I had to wonder, how did each of you come to be here today? I'm not talking about the mode of transportation that you took, but rather the relationship with someone in this room that's caused you to be here at this point in time. Realizing that we all have diverse backgrounds, and there are things that matter, that are different perhaps for each of us, things that give us strength and courage and motivation, hope. I suspect that for many, if not all of us, it is our relationships that serve to motivate the core of our intention, that direct our paths. In that light, I would ask you to close your eyes for a moment and consider that the world that you knew, the relationships that mattered most to you when you walked through those doors this evening are now different in every way that's important to you. Different because as of this moment, you were never born. That was the premise of a Frank Capra film, It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart portrayed a man, George Bailey, whose guardian angel shows George how his own life and that of many others would have been different had George never been born. So what does it mean to have a wonderful life? How do we even begin to consider such an experience? We might begin by considering that we touch each other's lives every day in big and small ways. And sometimes what can seem to us to be the most insignificant experience can mean all the difference in the path that another person's life will take. By choosing the path of nursing, we have directly placed ourselves in a position to expand our sphere of influence, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. For many of us, including myself, nursing school has singularly been the most painful, difficult, extraordinarily amazing experience that we have ever had the honor of completing. But I couldn't stand before you here tonight without the investment that each of you has made in me. Both inside and outside the classroom, faculty, the staff, countless preceptors and clinical nurses, our friends and family, have invested their time and energy and emotion to ensure that not only do we reach our goals today, but that we reach those of tomorrow as well. We have together felt sorrow and frustration. We have celebrated and we have found joy. We have learned to assess like nobody's business. And remember what seemed to be the biggest problem in that very first semester, what seems oh so long ago? Bedpans? That's literally behind us. Nursing school is the natural extension of a life that we have chosen to live on purpose, for a purpose. Nursing offers the tangible opportunity to be intentional about impacting the lives of others in a positive way, regardless of where that opportunity plays out. The enormity of utilizing our gifts and talents to serve a greater good can be overwhelming at times. And the responsibility of caring for and teaching another human being is simultaneously a privilege and a burden, albeit a welcome one. But if we break those tasks down into their smallest form, we can again address the question, what does it mean to have a wonderful life? I think that it begins by us embracing the very path that we find ourselves on and learning to cherish every moment, the big and perhaps more so the small ones. I leave you tonight with the words from Maya Angelou. They might not remember your name, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Thank you.
As promised, very wise words from our students. That really is the caliber of thoughtfulness that we have in every student. Each year, we award Outstanding Student Awards for exemplary work in 3 specific categories: excellence in community service, excellence in innovation, and excellence in research. And Dr. Mary Jean Schuman, the Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs for the School of Nursing, will present the awards.
I'd like to present the first award for Excellence in Community Service. This award goes to Nicole McCrory. Nicole was nominated by Professor Karen Dawn. Nicole has risen above the call of the advanced BSN program duty. In January of 2014, Nicole attended the School of Nursing trip to Haiti, along with 5 other ABSN students and 1 graduate nursing student. She did all of the prerequisite work required for the trip willingly and with great enthusiasm, while using excellent assessment skills and evidence-based practice in developing a hypertension prevention and treatment teaching program for the Haitians and community health workers in the Central Plateau region of Haiti. This region has the highest rates of poverty and disease. Her preliminary work for the Haiti trip was done during the 2013 fall semester and winter break, included research, learning basic Creole, which is the language of Haiti, attending group meetings, and working in groups for the education project. Nicole has a long-term goal of working in public health and in the community as a nurse and eventually as a nurse practitioner. She is well poised to take on this complex nursing role. She is mature, intelligent, hardworking, and well-respected. All of that enables her to work well with others. She is very much deserving of the Outstanding Student Award in Community Service. It was an honor for her to be nominated for this award. And in addition to being nominated for this award, Nicole is a Health Research Services Administration Scholar within the School of Nursing. Nicole? We do. So the next award is for the excellence in innovation. This award goes to Victoria Stabinsky. Victoria was nominated by Professor Linda Briggs. Victoria has a GPA of 3.973, and she has excelled in her academic and clinical studies. As a student, she has also been active in the Virginia Commonwealth Nurse Practitioner Association. As a nurse, she precepted student nurses and employees. During the fall of 2013, Victoria came to us with unexpected medical news. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Victoria said that in spite of this diagnosis, she was determined to finish her program. Despite numerous rounds of chemotherapy, Victoria completed her assignments, her exams, and her clinical hours on time. She underwent a bilateral mastectomy in March, and she wants to resume her clinical hours. Being an innovative nurse, Victoria worked on a project to help patients with similar medical diagnoses to better understand breast cancer management and treatment. Having learned a tremendous amount about breast cancer, both medically, professionally, and personally, she is committed to sharing her story with the intent of helping others. Victoria has put together a PowerPoint entitled Triple Positive Breast Cancer, My Case of Invasive Ductal Carcinoma. Victoria's journey is truly an exceptional and outstanding example of taking a very personal experience and creating an innovative way of helping others. Victoria? The third award is the Excellence in Research Award. This award goes to Margaret Ann House. Dr. House was nominated by her advisor, Dr. Pearl Zhou, for this research. Her doctoral study is entitled A Comparison of Male and Female Nurses' Perceptions of Gender Issues, Job Satisfaction, and Job Stress, and Their Intention to Leave Work. She was nominated for the award because of the high quality of her study. She successfully recruited 504 participants to her study. The quality of her data was excellent with minimal missing data and good reliability. Her results provide support to the validity of her study. Dr. House has been an outstanding student and will receive her DNP degree with a focus on healthcare quality. She currently is the director of the Nurse Practitioner and Physician Assistant Program for Heart and Vascular Services at Rex Healthcare in Raleigh, North Carolina. She earned a postmaster's FNP certificate from Texas Tech University, a master's in nursing from East Carolina University, a bachelor of science in nursing from the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, and an associate degree in nursing from Coastal Carolina Community College in Jacksonville, North Carolina. She knows what it means to achieve a goal, doesn't she? She is an active member of the GW chapter Sigma Theta Tau. She is an active member in her community and has served as a volunteer nurse practitioner for the Urban Ministries for 13 years and for the local chapter of the American Heart Association in Raleigh. Margaret Ann? In addition to the 3 awards given, the GW Alumni Association has a rich tradition of recognizing a graduating student from each school who has shown a commitment to the university, as well as outstanding leadership in campus and community activities and curricular and extracurricular accomplishments. For her leadership in reorganizing and invigorating the Student Nurses Association to include school-wide volunteer activities and a student-to-student mentorship program, as well as her dedication to her classmates in the school itself, this year's recipient of the GW Alumni Association Prize from the School of Nursing is Kirsten McAllister. Kirsten is not able to attend the ceremony tonight, but let's still give her a round of applause.
Yes, guess what? Kristen had to work. You know, what do you think? I am particularly pleased to introduce our graduation speaker for this evening. This year, Dr. Maureen McCausland, who is the Senior Vice President and Chief Nurse Officer of MedStar Health, will be our speaker. She is responsible for system-wide oversight and leadership of all aspects of professional nursing within MedStar Health, which includes 10 hospitals and probably over 8,000 nurses. Let me say that again, 8,000 nurses. She began her career at the Boston Department of Health and Hospitals and was appointed to a number of leadership positions that included Vice President for Nursing at Hannah Pavilion at the University Hospitals of Cleveland, Associate Vice President for Nursing at Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, and Vice President for Nursing at Mount Sinai in New York City. She's a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing, was a Johnson & Johnson Wharton Fellow, and a senior fellow at the Leonard Davis Institute for Health Economics at the University of Pennsylvania. She holds a Doctor of Nursing Science degree from Boston University and received her master's and undergraduate degrees from Boston. Finally, we are particularly pleased to have Dr. McCausland because we have been working on a very strong partnership with MedStar Health. And this partnership will essentially transform the School of Nursing in many ways, and we're thinking that it will transform MedStar Health in many ways. So we have been having wonderful fun in terms of partnerships. Dr. McCausland?
Good evening. Dean Johnson, members of the faculty, parents and other family members, and friends of the graduates, and most importantly, the graduates of the School of Nursing. I am honored to be with you on this important and exciting occasion to celebrate your accomplishments and look to your future gifts to society through your nursing practice. Like any speaker, I did my research on how to give a good commencement address. There was plenty of advice available, some of it serious, some of it humorous. On the humorous end of things, it recommending being sure to mention 2 bars that students would frequent on campus. Not necessarily something that I would know much about, but as the parent of a GW alum, I am familiar with Froggies and McFadden's. The best advice was to skip the cliches and platitudes, focus on you, the graduates, and most importantly, know when to sit down. On a more serious note, you are graduating from one of the best universities in the United States, and you've studied both the arts and sciences. You've been exposed to our nation's capital and a world-class faculty. Your faculty are influencing health policy as well as direct patient care. And I know they have imparted not simply knowledge, but the skills to change our healthcare system, one patient or one community at a time, to you. Last week, a new documentary was released entitled The American Nurse, Healing America. Created by a breast cancer survivor, the film opens with her saying, "My surgeon removed my tumor, my radiation oncologist planned my radiation, and my oncologist coordinated my care. But someone had to gown and mask and push that IV pole into my room and make sure that my chemotherapy was infused into my port. That person was my nurse." Carolyn Jones was inspired to create this film as a tribute to that nurse, who I might mention was certified by the Oncology Nursing Society. This film shows in raw detail what nursing practice is through 5 nurses, their patients, and their families. From a community health nurse in one of the poorest counties in rural America, in the remote hollows of eastern Kentucky in Appalachia, to the hospice nurse coordinator at the Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola, where she oversees a team of inmates who volunteer to care for their dying peers with compassion and grace one would not expect to find behind bars. So why am I sharing this with you? It's to help make my first point, and that is, few professions demand the day in and day out courage that nursing does. We stand with our patients and their families, often during the most significant moments of their lives, those of great joy as well as those of great sadness. We have the privilege of caring for patients and their families when they are most vulnerable. My wish for you is to never forget why you chose to become a nurse. Embrace the intimacy that true nursing is all about. While caring for patients at a time of great vulnerability, you will see things few others ever will. The joy of birth, the grief of unanticipated loss, and the resilience of a person fighting their way back from illness or injury. We care for patients at home, in clinics, in homeless shelters, and in hospitals. We work to improve the health of populations and communities. But just as patients and their families are vulnerable, the nurse often feels vulnerable as well, wondering if we can say the right thing, find words when there are none. Nursing requires presence, actually constantly putting down our own barriers so that we can connect with the person inside that patient. I can guarantee you, when we do this, the returns are priceless. Point number 2 for tonight. Our society and our profession need clinical nursing leaders from the patient's side to the boardroom. What must those leaders look like? First, they must be intelligent. What is intelligence, you might be asking? 52 researchers and philosophers of science tried to answer this question in the journal Mainstream Science on Intelligence. They wrote, "It is a very general mental capability that, among other things, involves the ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn quickly, and learn from experience. It is not merely book learning, a narrow academic skill, or test-taking smarts. Rather, it reflects a broader and deeper capability for comprehending our surroundings, catching on, making sense of things, figuring out what to do." What would you want besides these characteristics in your nurse? Secondly, nurses must have the ability to deal with cognitive complexity. Nurses practice in many academic neighborhoods, which include nursing science, psychology, sociology, biology, and chemistry, to name a few. Does this sound familiar in terms of your curriculum? I hope so. Nursing leaders must also have a spirit of inquiry, which ranges from the systematic evaluation of your own practice to the translation of research findings into practice and contributions to either established programs of research and the creation of new knowledge. But we need more than this. We need advanced components of clinical leadership, which I know that George Washington University School of Nursing has prepared you to provide. We need reflective practitioners who can think in action and reason while patients are in transition. We need effective communicators with the ability to truly listen. Expert collaborators who come to each interaction with presence and openness to what patients, families, and colleagues bring to the situation are important. We need generosity of spirit, nurses who share information and give assistance, not only to patients and families, but to each other. We also need nurses who can manage a milieu, wherever that might be, while indeed also caring for their own patients. And finally, evidence-based practice that includes competence in both rating the evidence that's out there and evaluating the strengths of interventions is essential. As healthcare continues to be reformed and transformed, the role of the professional nurse becomes increasingly important. New models of care and reimbursement require intentional coordination across settings, with professional nurses providing elevated levels of management and oversight for quality and outcomes. In today's patient-centric environment, nurses are key to promoting collaboration across the care team and engaging individuals and families more actively in their well-being. Those patients and their families look to nurses to lead the way to better health, safety, and peace. So whether you are a clinical nurse caring for a small number of patients, or working in a policy role, leading an organization, or creating new knowledge, nursing and society need and demand your intelligence, skills, and leadership. My third and final point is never lose touch with your inner nurse. That nurse is knowledgeable and compassionate and chose to be a member of the most trusted profession in America. Our profession has a special compact with society. Your passion, curiosity, and energy are not only needed, but they are expected, not today, but also in the future. George Washington University has prepared you well for facing challenges in nursing and in healthcare, and for leading the way to a better tomorrow. Your broad-based education provided the subject matter content that I listed above, but probably more importantly, the skills, the ability, and the commitment to embrace lifelong learning. Well, this phrase might sound like one of the dreaded platitudes or cliches I was cautioned to avoid. I believe it is critical for having joy and satisfaction in your career. When Pablo Casals, then age 93, was asked why he continued to practice the cello 3 hours a day, he replied simply, "Because I'm beginning to notice some improvement." I hope that you, too, will have a commitment to lifelong learning, to build your practice, and move to expert nursing in any role you select, and that you will use your knowledge for service to better our society. I wish you success and happiness, not only in nursing, but in your personal lives as well. GW has taught you about the complexity of life, but that life is only as good as you decide to make it. So stand up, be bold, and don't let anyone else define it for you. You are a GW Colonial. Stay connected to your fellow graduates and faculty. The GW network is large, it is special, and it is global, and you will be a very important part of it. So thank you for letting me share this evening with you, and enjoy the rest of this very special commencement weekend. I am proud to have you as a nursing colleague. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McCausland. I think that you captured nursing so well for these students and some of the challenges that you all will be facing. But now is the time. We have heard from a number of different people, but now is the time for the granting of the degree. Now, you will get a symbolic degree, just so everybody understands, and you will get your official degree in the mail. But I'm going to ask Dr. Mary Jean Schuman to join me on stage. I'm going to ask Dr. Kate Maliarikis to go to the mic, who will call the names. And for the students to line up in the aisle, just follow our excellent staff, and you will process up on the stage.
Brianne Nicole Blavelt. Olivia Lily Bordick. Easy, thank you. Melissa Broder. Elizabeth Demarest. Samantha Lee Derry. Katrina Renee Grugan. Rachel Anna Catter. Kelly Marie Kettleson. Should I be saying? I apologize. I should have been saying that these are the BSNs, the best ones. Tamara Nicole Knott. Noel Knott, BSN. Thank you. Matthew Kula, BSN. Nice, thank you. Sharon Long, BSN. Ezekiel Martinez, BSN. Stephen Mihalo, BSN. That's my girl. Courtney Dion Minnick, BSN. Shelley Mitchell, BSN. Heather Mockler, BSN. Got it. Philippa Morse, BSN. Oh, Mother of Jesus. Booty. Jigbodi Nikitikia Tebere. Oh, God love her. BSN. Hooray! Abigail Stephanie Rivas. That's my girl. Abigail Stephanie Rivas, BSN. Okay, thank you. Ashley Strassheim, BSN. Finally. Erin Elizabeth Sullivan, BSN. Andrea Tennis, BSN. Nice. Rebecca Zuckerman, BSN. Nicole, whoops. Now it is. Nicole Alexandra McCrory, BSN. Marsha Lynn Camden, BSN. Good. Hi. It's nice to see you. Mary Lou Swiskowski, BSN. Hi, good. How are you? Oh, I bet you are. Diana Irene Bartlett, MSN, Adult Gero, primary care nurse practitioner. Roger Bucal, MSN, Adult Gero, primary care nurse practitioner. Dawn Derrick, MSN, Adult Nurse Practitioner. Laurel Elizabeth DiMaggio, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Amy Marie Fox, MSN, Adult Nurse Practitioner. Melissa Wingard Miller, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Laura Mudrick, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Angela Novas, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Odontuya Pervinsaga, MSN, Adult Nurse Practitioner. Pamela Rubin Eubanks, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Steve Edward Rucker, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Allison Densmore Touchette, MSN, Adult Gero, Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Deborah Lynn Wainwright, MSN, Adult Nurse Practitioner. Go ahead. Jamel Nicole Walker, MSN, Adult Gero Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Suzanne Marie Ward, MSN, Adult Gero Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. I can do that. Rukmini Ajikuma, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Christina Latrisa Allen, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Ramya, got Anthony. Ramya Anthony, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Aubrey Atkins, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Got it. Eileen Mary Beal, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Christy Marie Berryhill, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Colleen Mary Bolleton, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Tara Marie Brandner, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Catherine Kelly Brinkman, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Danielle Nicole Brown, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Amy Elizabeth Bryant, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Sarah Colson, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jaren Jaquel Davis, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Alicia Reagan Dowrich, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Amber Dawn Eccleston, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jennifer Eisen, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Rahwa Iasu, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Go ahead. Aliza Fink, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Karen Gardella, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Casey Oakes Gilbert, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Shannon Lee Gorel, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Lindsay Greeno, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Casey Lynn Gruznik, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Got it. Kimberly Ruth Grebosh, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Renee M. Hadid, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Elizabeth O'Donnell Hatcher, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Angela Lynn Hout, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Catherine D. Holloway, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Charles Edward Jackson, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Anastasia Karanja, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Margaret Ann Kelly, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jennifer Marie Long, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Esther Ibakunalua Long, MSN, FNP, Family Nurse Practitioner. Alyssa May McWhorter, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Amy Jo Meggs, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Ann Mook, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Catherine Michelle Nipper, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Ashley Lynette Owens, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Laura C. Parker, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Dee Dee Ann Price, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Eva Isabel Sanchez, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Got it. Caitlin Dennison Shin, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Brooke Jones Simopoulos, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Amila Kiran Singh, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Andrea Lynn Strotterman, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Ife Mhoto Tep Torrance, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jancy Lee Webb, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Kristen Shaves Wider, MSN, FN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Crystal Ann Yazzetti, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Jody M. Zarita, MSN, Family Nurse Practitioner. Kendra Cooper, MSN, Healthcare Quality. That's so good. Lisa Gail Holcomb, MSN, Healthcare Quality. So good to see you. Colleen Hill Dansereau, MSN, Clinical Research Associate. Christine Kimberly Doron, MSN, Clinical Research Administration. Leslie Diane Werlin, MSN, Clinical Research Administration. Lisa M. Cox, MSN, Nurse Leadership and Management. Patricia Deo, MSN, Nurse Leadership and Management. Ashley Amber Jones, MSN, Nurse Leadership and Management. Megan Bloyd Mann, MSN, Nursing Leadership and Management. Caitlin Mary McTiernan, MSN, Nurse Leadership and Management. Megan True Roop, MSN, Nurse Leadership and Management. Let me finish. Okay, go ahead. No, I'll do this one. Victoria Leona Stabinski, MSN, Adult Gero Primary Care Nurse Practitioner. Danette S. Alexander, the Doctor of Nursing Practice. We've changed. Whoops. Teresa Suzanne Amory, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Sandra K. Anderson, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Jonathan A. Brown, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Catherine Teresa Fitzgerald, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Jean Gargiulo, Doctor of Nursing Practice. This is wonderful. Juliette Anne-Marie Harris Brown, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Awilda Vasquez Holland, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Valencia Hudson Jeffcoat, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Raphael Kayam, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Patricia Ann Kleba, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Cody Legler, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Marion Delia Lewis Gary, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Wendy Elizabeth Lugo, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Francis A. Monroe, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Laura Paduano, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Jennifer Price, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Jeffrey Charles Ransom, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Margaret Ann Bacconfuso House, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Carla Brock Wilbur, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Hee Young Song, Postmaster's Certificate. Mary Mansfield, Postmaster's Certificate, Family Nurse Practitioner. Khalil Nader, Postmaster Certificate, Family Nurse Practitioner. Sharon Percy, Postmasters, Adult Gero Primary Care Nurse Practitioners.
Graduates, rise. Please be seated. We are so proud of you, and what I can say is certainly job well done. And now we're going to do the Nightingale Pledge, and I'm going to ask Dr. Ellen Dawson to come to the podium and to lead us in the Nightingale Pledge.
And we invite everybody here that is nurses to stand and say it with us, please. I solemnly pledge myself in the presence of this assembly to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not take or knowingly administer any harmful drug. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession and will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping and all family affairs coming to my knowledge in the practice of my calling. With loyalty and with pride will I devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care.
And that is your pledge. Please be seated. One of the honors that I have as dean is probably getting the last word in. And as many of you know, this is the last graduation in which I will have an official role, so the graduates of this class are particularly special to me. I have had the honor of presiding probably over 20 graduations, and I have no idea how many certificate ceremonies and other kind of ceremonies, but they've been all wonderful. I've had an extraordinary career in which I've had the honor of working with literally thousands of students and being part of the founding of this School of Nursing, which I'm very pleased to say is doing exceptionally well. We have great faculty, great staff, and great graduates, all of you. every one of you. I've thought a lot about the charge to you, since what I say reflects a lifetime in nursing, which is nearly 40 years for me, as well as a life full of amazing experiences that have enriched me and I hope have touched others. I'm not sure where I began my nursing career, to be honest, whether it was when I was volunteering at our local hospital in Libertyville, Illinois, in which I joined the Penwazis. The Penwazi stood for Pen, Watch, and Scissors, which of course every good nurse carries with them. Or when it was working as a nursing assistant while I was in college. Or when I actually finished my first undergraduate degree in economics and looked for ways to change the world. And I realized that having an undergraduate degree in economics was not going to lead me to changing the world. However, I made an explicit decision when I was on a small island in Greece, recovering from an illness that I thought might be the death of me, literally. While recovering, I had time to reflect and decided that nursing was the career for me. I saw myself as a clinician, and I had no career path planned. So I've been very lucky over my career. I've been fortunate to have many truly amazing opportunities, most not easy, but all of them meaningful. I love nursing. I love, and I think all of you have heard me say this before, I love the mix of science, technology, and compassion. We all know that the internal call to be a nurse is not based on getting rich or being famous. Nursing is about the people we care for. We measure our success in the way we help people to manage an illness, adopt behaviors to stay healthy, and to die with dignity. So, in my charge, first I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to charge you with. Because I know you are generous and compassionate nurses already, I am not going to charge you with being more generous and more compassionate. Because you already know it is your responsibility to stay current in your nursing knowledge, always, I am not going to charge you with being lifelong learners. And because you are already highly ethical and professional, I am not going to charge you with being more ethical and professional. What I am going to charge you with is to be disruptive, to start anew on creating a health system that works for everyone, regardless of what their health, what their social background is, what their economic status is. Nurses have an exceptional capacity to address the critical issues facing us in healthcare in order to have a more compassionate, better, and affordable health system, one that is genuinely in tune with the values of the people we care for and our values as nurses. Your contribution to creating a system of care can range from making a change in the way care is delivered in a clinic or on a hospital unit to becoming the head of the Department of Health and Human Services and influencing national policy and decision-making. But in order to change the health system to the way that we know it should be, you're going to need to continue to stretch and move into a zone that may be pretty uncomfortable. You've spent the last number of semesters and years being in a zone that has been uncomfortable, and you're going to need to continue to do that. What you will need to do is have a vision for what that new health system can look like. You're going to need to understand the economics and the financing of the health system. You're going to need to know how to influence the policy process, inform coalitions of professionals from all disciplines, and you're going to need to be courageous, particularly courageous and persistent. I charge you with this so that everyone in this country will finally have the level of health care that we deserve. You have to believe that you can do this because you can and you must. When you start to feel discouraged, just remind yourself that people's lives and well-being depend on you. Just put that tape in your mind. Then feel bad for a little while, but pick yourself up and keep going. Part of the challenge is just being persistent, to just keep moving forward. So, not a small charge. This is a big job in front of you, and you all are the ones that are going to need to do it. And in fact, all of the faculty that were founding members of the School of Nursing have a medallion, and on the back of the medallion it says, "The future of healthcare is in the hands of nurses." And that's you. You've done very well, and we are proud of all of you. Now, go out and do the important work that you are committed to. And on behalf of the faculty and staff of the George Washington University, we wish you the best in your future and hope you will stay in touch and let us know about the meaningful things that you're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, please sit down. You know, I can't see any of you out there, sorry. Too many lights. Okay. So I think many of you know that Jean has decided to retire. And so this is likely the last graduation unless we can somehow convince her to hang on for another one, which we keep trying, but so far her spouse has tried to put a kibosh on that. So there's something special that we wanted to do for her, and those of us who are sort of in the decanal positions here at the School of Nursing would like to do something for her on behalf of the whole School of Nursing. So we're each going to take a turn reading a portion of our script here, and then by the time we get to the end, I think you'll understand where we're going. A career as a dean is made up of millions of moments. Some of them, like today, are formal events celebrating the collective accomplishments of students. On days like today, a dean's leadership is visible to all as they lead the procession of faculty and deliver the charge to new graduates. But on other days, in fact, the vast majority of other days, the moments that make up the career of a dean are virtually invisible to outside observers, and even to some of us who are on the faculty. These millions of moments have one thing in common. They all require the dean to make some sort of choice and to advocate on behalf of the school.
Sometimes these choices are so intuitive they don't even feel like choices at the time. A choice to listen when a faculty member popped their head in the door for a quick chat, or a choice to meet with a student who needed career advice. It's the hard choices a dean makes that we rarely see. Being a dean involves a cascade of choices that affect everyone in the dean's life: their spouse, children, grandchildren, friends, faculty, staff, and students. Sacrifices are made, opportunities are pursued, while other opportunities are set aside. And all of it is made to look easy and seamless and graceful by a skilled dean like Jean Johnson.
Most truly exceptional leaders had a hero they looked up to when they were younger, and Jean is no exception. When we learned who Jean's childhood hero was, her career as a dean made so much sense to us. Jean's hero was a man who lived by a strict moral code based on the following key principles. To have a friend, a man must be one. All individuals are created equal, and everyone has within themselves the power to make this a better world. There's abundant firewood here on earth, but every person must gather and light it themselves. Be prepared physically, mentally, and morally to fight when necessary for what is right. Individuals should make the most of the equipment they have. Sooner or later, somewhere, somehow, we must settle with the world and make payment for what we have taken. All things change, but truth and truth alone lives on forever.
So, Jean's childhood hero was the Lone Ranger. And as a young girl, she loved her tutu as much as she loved her six-shooters. And rumor has it, she often wore them both at the same time. The Lone Ranger's moral code closely parallels the way Jean carries out her work as dean. She looks to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and she asks the same of everyone with whom she works. The Lone Ranger was not really alone. He worked side by side with Tonto. At times, this partnership was life-saving for them both and for others as well. Throughout the years, Jean has created many partners with colleagues across the university, in the community, and within her family. This is one of Jean's defining traits, the ability to engage others in a common vision and an objective and goal.
I am also speaking on behalf of Dr. Belinda Teppenhoff, who is unable to be here today. In honoring today, Jean's last School of Nursing graduation ceremony as our dean, her faculty, staff, students, family, and friends worked together to create a work of art commemorating a few thousand of the millions of moments comprising her career. Individually, these snapshots in time capture official events like awards won, speeches given, and headlines written. But just as importantly, they capture faces of the people in Jean's life, both personally and professionally. Together, these snapshots make up a bigger picture visually, much as these moments in time make up her career.
Jean, the School of Nursing would like to present a gift to you. And words can't really begin to express how much your leadership has meant to us, and this is going to make me cry. The Lone Ranger was your hero, but you'll always be yours.
Jean, tonight you're not going to get the last word. What a great celebration this has been. And it truly has taken a village, beginning with the students and their family and friends who brought us together along with the faculty and the staff to have this wonderful celebration of this graduating class of nurses. It is also the case, though, that we wouldn't be here today in this place or in the school if it hadn't been for the goals, persistence, and effort of my wife and colleague, Dr. Jean Johnson, with whom I've had the wonderful good fortune to have spent the last 35 years as her partner, co-parent, and colleague, and to have had a hand in raising 4 children, 2 of which are here with their spouses, and 3 of our grandchildren. Stand up. We're Pop-Up and Mimi to them. Jean came to GW as a newly minted nurse practitioner instructor in what was a small NP program that was actually in some jeopardy of failing, only to find herself but about 7 or 8 months after she got here, thrust into the role of program director. Somehow she managed not only to keep the program alive, but was able to turn it into one of the top NP programs in the country, and at the same time, get her PhD from GW, raise 4 fantastic children, maintain a circle of close friends, and be a wonderful partner and professional colleague to me. Talk about multitasking. While this is not the time or the place to trace the development of the school in detail, suffice it to say, while she had a lot of help and encouragement along the way from nursing colleagues like Dodie Harper and Ellen Dawson, who's here tonight, and from then the new president of GW, Steve Knapp, and Provost Steve Lerman, there were also those who felt that nursing should remain as a small program in the medical school or be done away with altogether. How she managed to move not only forward with her dream, but actually make friends with most of those who opposed her is one of her many talents. She's one of those rare leaders who not only leads by example, but by sharing her enthusiasm, recognizing and nurturing the talents of others, many of whom are here on this stage. And it's something that all of you graduates may want to emulate as you become leaders in the future. So Jean, I know I speak for all of your friends, your family, your nursing colleagues, and the students and friends and family who have gathered here tonight when I say thanks for being you.
I am going to get the last word. Actually, I have to tell you how humbled I am. I have been humbled by our students and how bright and committed they are. I have been humbled by our faculty who are bright and committed, and that I just thank my lucky stars every day that I work with such wonderful people. And I thank my family who have put up with me for so many years, of late night meetings, weekend activities and meetings, and sometimes I think that they felt, particularly my kids, that perhaps I felt that I cared more about my students, but they knew that I really loved them all the time. So thank you, everybody. I love my Lone Ranger. That is going to have such a special place, and it does have a special place in my heart. He was my hero. So what I'm going to say to everyone, thank you. Please join us on the Mall on Sunday. The university graduation is spectacular, and I think that it is so much fun that you really will enjoy it. But in the meantime, immediately, there is a reception across the street at the Marvin Center, and please join us and celebrate this wonderful day. I'd like to ask that all the guests remain seated for the recession, and the faculty will lead, and then the students will follow. And thank you.